So welcome back everyone. We are here with a new set of interview questions on object-oriented programming using C++. So continuing further, in this video we'll be discussing about some topics like reference variables, access specifiers, scope resolution operators, references, pointers, and other topics like differences between references and pointers and C and C++. So we'll continue with the first question. So what are the differences between C and C++? So difference is that in C language, C is basically a language which is derived from the B and the BCPL language. BCPL is basically basic combined programming language, which is base for your C language. If we talk about C++, C++ is referred as the superset of C language. That means C language is acting as the base on which the features of C++ are being inherited. Means certain features of C language are being inherited, or you can say derived by your C++ programming language. Plus there are some new features which are added to C++. That's why the name suggests C with extended features. C++, that means C language with plus additional features. Then next difference is that C follows a procedural programming approach that we have already discussed in the previous video. Then C++ is also following the object-oriented programming approach. If we talk about C language, it is basically following a top-down approach of program design, and C++ follows the bottom-up approach of program design. So bottom-up and top-down approaches we have discussed earlier, so that has already been covered. Now if we talk about C programming is basically focuses more on the functions part rather than the data security. So data is not secured in this case, but it is more secured, or you can say hidden, in case of C++ programming language. And if we talk about C language, it is basically function driven, as we have said, and in C++ we focus more on the creation of objects and working with objects. So that is, it is object driven. Further we can say C is developed and designed by your Kernighan and Ritchie in 1970s, although the latest or initial version was in 1972, released for the normal public. And if we talk about C++, it is designed and developed by Bjarne Stroustrup and its team in 1983. So these are the certain differences which are based on the differences of your structured and object-oriented programming languages. The next question that comes is, what are basically access specifiers in C++ and what can be the default access specifier? So the answer to this question is there are various different access specifiers or modifiers in C++ which are referred as public, private and protected. So basically the use of these access specifiers is to specify the accessibility of the data members or functions or classes in an object-oriented programming language or in an object-oriented based program. So whenever we are writing an object-oriented based programming language based program, so these access specifiers which are present in the C++ language as keywords, or you can say reserved words, which are already defined in the language and have a specific meaning. And if you talk about the default access specifier, which is basically your private, that means if nothing is specified, you can say the access to that type of data or function or class is basically of private type. So basically in C++ programming, we focus more on the data and its security. So that's why these features are incorporated in C++ to provide some kind of hidden features. So question comes to mind is, what is the meaning of public? Public members of a class can be accessed by anyone. So basically what we are saying here is, if something in a class is defined as public or provided with the public access, so it can be accessed by anyone throughout the class, or even the outside functions of the class can access it, but by use of creating the objects of the class. As in the case in C++, we know that everything is accessible by objects of the class. If we are creating a class, then after creating the class and defining the class, we create the objects of the class. So whatever data or the member functions which are present inside the class, they are accessible by the objects of the class. That is the feature that we supposed to provide in our C++ program. Then the meaning of public or private is basically, in case we define that the members of a class are having private access, then they are only accessible within the class and by the friends of the class. That means within the class means only the functions of the class can access them. Private data or private functions. Only the functions of the class means the functions which are defined inside the class, member functions of the class, they can access it or friends can access it. Whether it is a friend class or a friend function of the class, they can access the data. Okay. So only member functions and friend functions of the class or the friend classes can access the private members of a class. Then we have the third specifier which says that it is only accessible by the class itself and its derived classes. So derived classes means we are performing inheritance, and inherited classes or inheriting classes can access the protected members of the base class. So we can have a base class, and this is used as the parent class to create a child class, which is acting as the derived class. So in this child class or derived class, we are inheriting some of the properties of the base class. So that means when we are inheriting those properties, so properties, or you can say data members, protected members of the base class gets inherited and can be accessible by the child class by use of the objects method. Means when we create child class object, suppose obj, so based on this obj I can access this protected members of the base class. Protected members are like this, defined in the class like this. We specify the keyword protected, then we specify the colon, and maybe after that we can define a variable or declare a variable like a. So I can access obj.a because protected members are accessible by the objects of the class which is deriving it. Similarly, in case of providing public and private access to the data members of a class, what syntax we use? We specify class and the name of the class is suppose test. Inside this, if I want to start this thing like public, which is a keyword, to specify that whatever things are mentioned after this public keyword, they are all having the public scope. Public scope, or you can say that they are public members. Like I can declare a variable int a, which is a public member. I can create a function void display. So this is the function which is declared inside the class. So these all functions as well as the data members are having public access. In place of public, if we write protected, it will become protected, and if we don't write anything, by default we have private access, or we can explicitly write the keyword private to specify that these things are private. Okay, like this. In place of public inside the class, I can write private, then colon, and after that whatever we declare as data member or function, they will be having that kind of access. In a class, even we can have multiple access types. Like I can start something as private, even if I don't specify. I can say int a is a private data member which should be accessible within the class, or only the members of the class can access, or the friend functions or the friend classes. After this statement, I start another access. So public access I am starting, and I am declaring another variable int b. So this means that this variable is having the private access and this variable is having the public access within the same class. So I can change the specifier, access specifier within the class definition also as required. So some members I can keep private and some members I can keep in the public mode. So this is all about your access specifiers in C++, enabled in C++ to provide restricted or not an open access to the data. Okay. Next question that comes in mind or next question that will be important is, what are the main differences between the structure and the classes in C++? If you know the concept of structures in C language, then it will be better to understand this thing or easy to understand. Otherwise, still we can understand it. The main difference between classes and structures in C++ is, by default, the members of a structure are public, and in classes, as we have already discussed, members of a class are by default private. So that means they have the private default access, and structure we have public default access. So structures in C++ are inherited from the C language syntax. So what we write to declare a structure, struct, struct is the keyword, then the name of the structure, suppose it is used to create student record. So I can write student record as the name of the structure, and I can create data members inside it and functions even. So these are basically the data members which are defined inside the structure. So this is the definition for the structure. If I want to write it for the class, so class will be class name. It can be any class name. I've just written class name. And if I declare something like this, int b, and void maybe suppose display function. So this is how we can define a class. So by use of this statement, what we are saying is, by use of these statements, we are saying that these are having by default public access. And now we know what is the meaning of public access. And these are by default having the private access, because nothing is written inside the class about their access or access mode. So by default they are having private access. So this is the meaning of, or this is the difference, main difference between structures and classes in C++. The concept of structure is being derived from the C language, but we are saying that in structure in C++ we can have member functions. This is the difference between structure and structure of C and C++. This one between structure of C and C++ language. These are the differences which we can make out in structures of C and C++. In C++, structures can have functions also as part of the structure definition. Then we can say that class is a successor of the structures present in C language. So by default structures are present in C language. We inherit the feature here also, as well as we succeed something, means we are adding some new features to the class, which is public, private and protected access, which is missing in the by default definitions of structures in C. Then we have C++, which is extending the structure definition to include functions that operate on members. So it extends the structure definition. Why it is referred as successor? Because it extends the structure definition to include functions which can operate on the members. Members basically your data members. So this is the difference between structure and class in C++. Next question is, what are the insertion and extraction operators in C++? So basically insertion and extraction operators are two different types of operators which are present in C++, not available in C language. So these are basically used to perform some sort of operations like printing and scanning data in case of C++ language programs. So that is supported by use of these operators. How we do that? So basically the operator symbol is like this, double less than, you can type from the keyboard and it will work out. And it is basically used with a predefined object which is referred as cout, and cout is basically the instance of ostream class in C++. So ostream class is basically the class which is providing the access to the output stream, standard output stream. Means objects of the ostream class can refer to the standard output stream. That means if we provide input to the program or input in the program and we want to get the output, so that output is preceded by some standard output stream. Standard output stream is the location where we write the output before projecting it to the user. Before the output is getting displayed to the user, standard output stream file is being used to store the output, and then ultimately the data gets reflected by use of the monitor, or you can say output device or the display device. So cout is the object which is being used along with this operator, and general use of this is like this: cout double less than, in double quotes, if I write hello, it and put a semicolon after that, this is a valid C++ statement where it is saying that it is used to redirect the data given in the double quotes. Here we have written the data in the double quotes as hello. After the double less than operator, or you can say insertion operator, or a data item value, means it is used to redirect the data given in the double quotes or the data item value to the standard output stream. So that means standard output stream file will get this information, which is used to display it by use of the display device. Display it to the user by use of the display device, which we in our normal cases will be your monitors. Okay. So whatever data is present after this double less than, or you can say insertion operator, it will be displayed if it is written in double quotes. If some variable name is displayed like this, if I have declared and defined a variable like this and I want to write something like a is equal to double less than again, and we write a. So what it will do, this will cascade the information. First, this will be moved to this cout, which is referring to the standard output stream, and we get this as the output. Then this a again means the value of or data of this a variable is again projected after that. So it will display a is equal to 10. And these two statements combined into a single statement is referred as cascading of insertion operator. Cascading means multiple copies of insertion operators are being used to print or display something. If I directly write cout name of the variable, so it will directly display 10 as the output. If I want to display a is equal to 10, I have to cascade this insertion operator in a single line. In a single statement, before writing this semicolon in double quotes, I can write a equal to like this, and after that I can put the value of or the variable name after double less than again, so it will display that value. So this is the case with the insertion operator used with the cout object, which is predefined in the OStream class. In order to use this cout object in C++ program, you can include IOStream header file. You can include IOStream header file in your programs. That IOStream header files is basically created out of your two classes, your OStream and iStream. So whatever things are present in OStream and iStream are getting inherited by the IOStream class. So ultimately IOStream is that file in which cout is already incorporated from the OStream class. Then we have next thing, which is your extraction operator. So in case of extraction operator, it is basically a double greater than symbol, which is used with the predefined symbol cin, which is an instance of iStream class. iStream refers to the standard input stream, and again it is performing to extract the data. Extract means it want to fetch the information from the standard input stream, or whatever information we input in the standard input stream, like it is performing the same operation as scanf does in case of C language. So standard input streams information will be stored in some variable or data item mentioned after this operator for storage and usage in the program. So it works like this: cin a. So when this statement executes, this variable a will be storing the data whichever we input on the standard input stream. That means whenever the program's output is getting displayed, a standard input stream window will be displayed. If we write 10 over that and press enter, output screen जो होती है program की, that output screen we are write 10 and press enter. So this a will be moving that data to the standard input stream, or means standard input stream's data will be reflected inside this variable a. Means cin will scan this data value 10 and store it inside this variable a. So that means cin is referring to this location, standard input stream. So based on this we are fetching the information and storing it inside the variable or any data item. So this is the use of extraction operator. This extraction operator can also be said as get from operator. Get from means we are getting the information from the standard input stream, and this insertion operator can also be said as put to operator. Put to means we are putting or displaying or providing output to the standard output stream. Okay, so standard output stream, we are providing some data and sending some data, so that is why it is referred as put to operator also. So this is about the insertion and extraction operators. Then comes is what is the use of scope resolution operator. So basically scope resolution is a special type of operator which is used in C++. It is used to generally uncover the hidden variables. Hidden variables, or you can say the overwritten variables, which are overridden by some of your code. So those variables are uncovered by use of this scope resolution operator. So what is this operator? Basically it is represented by double colon. You need not specify spaces, you have to mention it without spaces, it will work. So it is basically used to access the global version of a variable when there is a local variable with the same name existing in the class or a scope. Means if I am writing a program in a function, suppose int test function is there, and I am writing a variable int GLA, and I define this GLA variable with the value as 10. If I write cout and suppose just mention GLA here, it should display me the output as 10. If I execute this test function, it should display me the output as 10. Okay, because GLA contains 10 and we want to display that by use of the cout object. But suppose outside this function, outside the scope of this function, means outside the boundary of this function, there is another variable with the same name having value of 40. So scope resolution operator can be used to access this value of GLA equal to 40, because by default this GLA will be displaying the value which is local inside that particular test function, which is locally defined. So that means global version of the variable I cannot access this directly, but scope resolution operator allow us to do that. So that is why this global variable is your hidden variable, which gets hidden, or you can say superseded by the local variable. Okay, so this is my local variable with the same name. So same name is the catch. So this is basically the idea about your scope resolution operator. There are some other uses of scope resolution operator, like it is used to define the function outside the class, and it can also use to access and define the static variables of the class. So basically static variables are defined like this. We'll discuss what is static variable later on. So suppose static int count is the variable which we have defined in the class. Basically static variables are your shared variables which are shared among the objects of a class. Shared variables we can say. So in order to define its value, we can use the scope resolution operator along with class name. So we can define something like this outside the class. Int name of the class, suppose test class is the name, scope resolution count equal to suppose 0. So by default this static variable now will have the 0 value, which is the initial value for this count variable. And later on I can use this inside my program to specify, to change the value of this particular static variable. So static variable access and definition can be done by use of your scope resolution operator. That is another use of it. So default use is to access the global version of a variable. Then functions can be defined outside the class. Then third function can be your, or use can be your defining the static variables of a class. Next, the question can be asked based on this: if in a program having global and local variable with the same name, local and global variable with the same name, which one will be given precedence by the compiler during execution? Means the compiler will give precedence or priority to which particular local or global variable having the same name. So generally the compiler gives the precedence to the local variable. By default local variable are given extra precedence, means they will be accessed first above the global variable having the same name. So for example, we have defined this program in C++. This is basically the global variable. Having the value 10 with the name global var defined in the global scope of my program. Global scope means outside the main function in the normal area without any boundaries. You can say global area or global scope of my program. Inside the main function, I have written another variable with the same name, global var, assigned it value with 7. In case I want to display this, result is global variable, so this will access this 7 only, which is the local version of the variable. So local version is given precedence over this global variable. Okay, so that's why the output is result equal to, or result is 7. So precedence is given to the local scope or variable defined in the local scope. So this is the local scope we are talking about. Local scope means in the vicinity of this particular access, where we are accessing this global variable. So in the vicinity or within its scope, we are able to access this. Scope is basically defined by generally by these parentheses. Means within a function, this opening parenthesis and this closing one. Within this boundary, we are having the same scope until unless the scope changes in between. Okay. Next, another option. In case I want to access the global version of the variable, in case they are having the same name, how you will access the global variable? So the answer is by use of the scope resolution operator. How we use it? Let us see that thing with the example. So x equal to 10, this is the global variable. So I want to access this particular variable inside the class. How we access it? And this is local variable with the same name. So this scope resolution access is able to access this version, global version of the variable. So if we apply scope resolution x, so this will refer to this particular value 10, means the global variable having the same name in the different scope. Now, in order to access the local variable directly using the variable name, which is in the defined in the local scope, it will provide that value. So we can mention here, or we can see the result here, x equal to 10, which is accessing the global variable, x equal to 2, which is accessing the local variable. So this is accessed with scope resolution operator, double colon, along with the name of the variable, which is x. And in order to specify this as the output, we just have to write x. So this is the difference between global and local variable and access to them by use of scope resolution operator. Next question, what is the reference variable in C++? This is an important question. The reference variable is a special type of variable which provides an alias or alternative name to an already existing variable. Alias or alternative name to an already existing variable. So that means I have a variable like this, int a is equal to 10. So I want to associate another name to this already existing variable. That means I want to associate a nickname kind of thing. So I can associate name like B. So that means B is also storing this value. B is also referring to this value. So that is meaning of alias. The features with alias is that, or specifications with alias is that it shares the memory location with the existing variable for which it is an alias. So in memory, in case this variable is created like this, it is having value 10. When we create a alias, something like this happens, b/a/b. That means this memory location is having the same name, a and b. It can be referred by both. Okay. So the memory address suppose can be your 1000. So 1000 address will store the value as 10 and can be accessed by either the placeholder A or B. So that is the meaning of alias, sharing the memory space. So sometimes we require in programs to create a copy of a variable. So we can create an alias or reference variable to that, and we can easily access the copy of that variable. And in case we make some changes, like if we make a statement or write a statement like this, b is equal to b plus 1, it will affect the changes here. Like this 10 will become 11, and when we try to print this statement after performing b is equal to b plus 1 operation, if I try to display the value of a, it will give me 11, which is the updated value. So that means they are accessing the same data. So if we make the variable a reference to another variable, they can be used interchangeably. That is the use we are talked about. And requirement of reference variable, when we are creating reference variable, this is the most important requirement. They must be initialized at the time of declaration. Means they cannot be changed or pointing to or referring to another variable later point of time. Once it is created, it should be referencing to a particular variable only. So for example, this is how reference variables are created. We have to specially mention the data type of that variable, name of the reference variable along with this ampersand symbol equal to the variable name which we have already created. So this is variable name is this one is the already existing variable. This one. This is my existing variable. And this is the new variable or reference variable. For example, suppose this is the already existing variable int total equal to 10. I want to create another name for this total like this sum. So sum can be used along with this ampersand and integer data type after that statement. And equal to total, which is already existing variable. Based on this statement, total will be associated like this. Suppose sum is having value 10. So earlier it is accessed by sum, now it can be accessed by total also. Earlier it is accessed by total, now it can be accessed by sum also. So this is the use of the reference variable. So whatever changes, total will change in this data or sum will change in this data or this location. They will be common for both. Okay. So that is the use of the reference variable. The main requirement is that they must be initialized at the time of declaration. Then next question will be, what are the differences between references and pointers? So there are certain differences. So pointers can be initialized to any value, any time after it is declared. Suppose we declare a pointer variable like this, int streak p. So this pointer variable is going to be initialized to any value, any time after it is declared. So this is basically the declaration statement, int streak p, and p is equal to storing the address of a variable a. Suppose variable a is already there in the system and p is pointing to that. That means we are creating a pointer variable p and it is storing the address of another variable a which is holding the value 10. So the address of this variable a can be suppose 100. So pointer is storing this address by use of this ampersand a. Okay, so this is the use of pointers. But later on, this p can be assigned to any other variable also. Means p can store the address of any other variable in the system also at a later point of time. That is the meaning of it can be initialized to any value, any time after it is declared. So b is equal to 20. If we write this, then later on this can change to b variable having value 20. And address of this b variable is suppose 200. So this 100 will change to 200 in the pointer's value. Here we store the value 200 inside this p. So that is the meaning of p pointing to two different variables at two different point of time in my program. Then in case of reference variable, as we have discussed, it must be initialized when it is declared and always point to the same variable. Means when it is initialized to a variable, so it is always pointing to the same variable throughout its lifetime. We cannot change it to point to a different variable. So pointers need to be dereferenced in case I want to access the value of the variable which is pointed by the pointer. So I have to dereference it by use of this asterisk symbol. So asterisk symbol allows us to access the value which is pointed by the pointer. So as p is pointing to a or b, so the value of that can be accessed by use of asterisk p. Okay, so that is the meaning of this thing. References can be used directly without any particular issue. Like in the previous example, we have created the sum reference variable, so I can directly use this sum. There is no requirement of this ampersand symbol or asterisk symbol. So cout sum will display the value of the sum, which is equating to total's value, as we have discussed in the previous example. So this can be the output. So pointers can be assigned to the null value and references cannot be null. Means we have a null variable or null value which is assigned in the language, which is predefined in the language. So pointers can be assigned to that value, but references cannot be null, because null means nothing and references we are creating based on something which is already existing. So if nothing is existing, there is no use of pointers or references. Pointers can be changed to point to any variable of same type, means variable should be of same type and pointer can point to it. In case of reference, it is initialized to a variable, cannot be changed or referred to any other variable or object during its lifetime. Example for pointers will be like this. This int star p is the pointer, variable is 10 of integer type, p can store its address, just like we have done for a and b variables earlier. So basically what is the meaning? P is pointing to a variable var of same type and p can point to another variable of same type later. That means the same thing which we have talked about in case of a and b earlier. And here in case of reference variable, int test equal to 10 means we are having a existing variable, and this is how the reference variable is getting created for this test variable. Then reference variable ref var is created as alias or reference to the variable test, and reference variable ref var cannot be alias to any other variable during its lifetime. So I cannot create another variable which can also be referenced by this reference variable like this. Suppose there is another variable sum, and sum equal to 20. So this sum is now getting aliased by ref var variable which is earlier pointing to test. So this cannot happen, this is not a legal statement. This will generate an error. So these are the certain differences between pointers and references in case of C++. So we'll wind up at this point. So for further updates, you can refer to the channel, and if you do like the video, kindly subscribe the channel. Thank you.